if you're applying for asylum, and if your asylum is denied by the officer, they're sending you before the immigration judge. Your I-140 application is denied, they're sending you before an immigration judge. Even if you are before an immigration judge, you may be able to win your case depending upon the facts and circumstances of your matter. People in our wonderful Bangladeshi community need to do, they need to become US citizens as soon as possible. That is my strongest recommendation to members of our community.
If somebody already had detained by ICE or by a federal agent, so what is their process? What is their legal rights to remove from this kind of removal order? Immigration process right now in America is very unstable and every day is factual. And so first of all, I want to know about, because you know that now very scaring things is deportation. A lot of people are facing this one, and you know that ICE is very strong. They're gonna deport a lot of people and arresting already millions of people. So my question is that a lot of people ask our as possible as our viewers, they were gonna want to know, actually, ICE arrested which people? They're gonna like undocumented or illegal or border crossing or deportation order. Actually, what is their first priority for arresting the people?
Okay, number one, unfortunately, they are going after everybody. So let's go slow. Nowadays, if your visa is getting denied, the first thing they're doing, they're sending you before an immigration judge after you've exhausted your appeal. So whoever, number one, has overstayed the visa, if they're applying for a benefit, for example, if you're applying for asylum, and if your asylum is denied by the officer, they're sending you before the immigration judge. Secondly, your I-140 application is denied, they're sending you before an immigration judge. Even if your battered spouse petition is denied, they're sending you before an immigration judge. So in a sense, anyone and everyone who is losing their status is winding up before the immigration judge. And therefore, it's very important for you to have a very good lawyer when you are placed before an immigration judge. The process starts by a person getting a notice to appear before the IJ. And once if you get the notice to appear, then you have the right to fight your case. And even if you are before an immigration judge, you may be able to win your case depending upon the facts and circumstances of your matter. So anyone who is losing the status, who's undocumented, or even if he's a green card holder. Now, this is very important, Mr. Bishwas.
Yeah.
Take an example that someone is coming from Bangladesh. Now, and he used two names. And in the past, he came in and he got a green card under a different name, and now he's an American citizen. And if he has an exclusion or deportation order, his citizenship also can be revoked if immigration brings up proceedings before the court. So be very careful when you're a green card holder. If you're traveling, you have to be careful. Secondly, if you have a criminal record, you have to be careful if you're a green card holder. Thirdly, if you are a green card holder, even if you get involved with a domestic violence crime, you can be in trouble with the law depending upon the facts and circumstances of your case. So what people in our wonderful Bangladeshi community need to do, they need to become US citizens as soon as possible. That is my strongest recommendation to members of our community.
Okay, this is very good question that you concern about this matter, like that criminal activities. But if somebody already had detained by ICE or by a federal agent, so what is their process? What is their legal rights to remove from this kind of removal order?
The first thing is that when they tell you to sign something, tell them, I need a lawyer to review my case. Because sometimes when you're going to sign documents, you can forego your rights, which means you can waive your rights, which is not a good idea. Get in touch with an experienced attorney as soon as possible. And the next important thing for you is just to make sure that have a good lawyer represent you. You may win your case before an immigration judge, or you may lose your case. That is where exactly things stand when you are in court. Ultimately, it is the duty of the judge to administer justice fairly, and if you win, you'll be out. I'll take an example. If you are in removal proceedings, in deportation proceedings, and if you entered with a visa, even if you get married when you are removing proceedings, you may still be able to save your green card. So, depending on the facts and circumstances of a case, you may have options before the immigration judge.
Okay, and Mr. Gay, this is very popular term by USCIS. They're going to influence people for self-deportation or voluntary departure. But what is the different actually? Deportation, voluntary departure, or which are the deportation? So both are
That's a very good
similar, or
question.
it's a little bit different?
So, both are different.
Okay.
So, voluntary departure falls under Section 240 of the INA. Under Section 240 of the Act, the person says that I am leaving the country on my own recognizance. So, which means the government is not paying for your travel. You're leaving the country and you're saying that I'm done with everything. But there's a big misconception. People think that if I take a voluntary departure, I will not be subject to do the 10-year bar. They are wrong. Even if you take voluntary departure, you can still be subjected to the 10-year bar. Voluntary departure means immigration is saying that at least you're leaving with us on a good note. And in future, when you apply for a visa, the officer may be sympathetic. He may be saying that, okay, you went wrong, but at least you admitted. And the bar is the same for voluntary departure too. If you have unlawful presence in the US, which is 10 years under 212A9C2 of the INA. But the good thing is you're not being arrested, you're paying your own fare, you're leaving, and the judge generally gives you 60 days to leave. But when you have a deportation order, the problem is that you have a warrant on your name and you can be picked up by ICE and you'll be put back in the detention center and you'll be sent back to your country and your record can become really bad.